welcome back to Absolutely. My name is Benny, that is Sal, and we get together on a regular basis talking about your favorite comic book movies, shows, and everything going on in the world of it. And what is our expertise? We've been doing it for 10 years. We own some of the biggest and best channels on YouTube for comic book content. I figured I'd do an intro in case you've never seen one of these episodes before.
I like that. Yeah. Welcome to the show, guys.
All right. Today we're going to give you our live reaction to the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse official trailer, #2, Sony Animation. That's what they titled it. I don't know what to tell you.
I know. It's got to hit those search algorithms.
Okay. Sal, it starts now.
Okay, I'm trying.
I hate those, but I know what they're doing. I realize it because they all end at 5 seconds.
They're trailer. They're ads.
They're ads to put into the new trailer.
Yeah. Just when you're about to skip it, you can see the whole ad they have.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
My name is Miles Morales. I'm Brooklyn's one and only Spider-Man. And things are going great.
Oh yeah, you were supposed to be here at 5.
I want to comment on this real quick. I know it's already at the beginning, but I just made a video, The Problem with Miles Morales, which actually was on the slate before this was coming out, so it's very well timed.
Yeah, well done.
And I wanted to get your quick opinion on just that statement, the one and only Spider-Man in Brooklyn. The problem with Miles Morales is they broke him in 2016. When they put him in the 616, there's no need for Miles Morales anymore. He needs to be the only Spider-Man, which is why these movies work.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one of his universe. Like, I get this 800,
funny.
but...
Yeah, it's exactly, because every one of these, both these movies are about him being the only Spider-Man in an ocean of Spider-Men. So it's like, is he? But for whatever reason, it doesn't quite work as well in the comics, despite the fact that apparently the run right now is well-liked. People
It's amazing what they're doing now, but they're still having the same issue where they can't seem to do anything with Miles. He seems to always get the B-tier squad.
Exactly. No,
the
Miles
A-tier stuff always goes to Spider-Man, and he's goes to Peter over Miles. So
yeah, you put Miles against the larger MCU or Marvel comics. Like if you put him against like all those characters, he has very little interaction with any of them, and it's because they're like, I don't know, if I'm going to use Spider-Man, I'm going to use like Peter, I guess.
Well, the biggest issue, and we'll move on with this trailer in a second for those who are watching, that I brought up a great example. I looked it up. Peter's technically from Queens, or at least in the Queens area.
Yeah,
Miles is in Brooklyn. It's 6 miles apart.
Yeah,
they're 15 minutes from each other, but Miles goes missing for like 3 months when the assessor kidnaps him, and Peter doesn't even check in on him for lunch. It doesn't work.
No. And especially with web slinging, it takes like 3 tops. Like So the whole 5 boroughs in like 20 minutes.
But that comment, that's why I wanted to ask your opinion on that. He works, and I think he's one of the best Spider-Men, but he can't be in a universe where there's 900 other Spider-Men, especially when there's 3 Peter Parkers running around. Peter,
I agree.
Ben, and Kane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things are going great.
Oh yeah, you were supposed to be here at 5.
All right, whatever.
Whatever?
Wow.
Whatever?
So are you like a cow or a Dalmatian?
I am the Spot. It's not funny.
Don't do that.
What do you think about the portrayal of Spot being goofy?
It's fine.
Yeah.
You know what? Everyone's goofy in these movies. I'm fine with it.
There's
Spot
a lot more humor in this trailer than I've ever seen in any of the Spider-Man stuff.
I agree. This is I'm fine with it. Spot is not a fan favorite for me. I don't care about Spot. It would be one thing if it was like Puma, a character who is like so deeply serious in every story he's in.
Yeah.
If you wanted to pick like a niche character, but the Spot, it's like, you could do whatever you want. I remember hearing the Spot was going to be if not a villain in this movie, and I'm like, okay, like fine, do whatever you want to do. Make up a character, knock yourself out. But this seems like, oh, actually he's more like a sub-villain, but okay, he's still funny. I'm okay with it. I like the bread gag. Cute.
Yeah.
Miles' grades are pretty good. A in AP Physics.
That's my little man.
And a B in Spanish.
I like that.
Mira, eso es imposible.
I gotta go. All right, bye.
He's lying to you. And I think you know it. Miles!
Wanna get out of here?
Oh, Gwen? So wait a minute. There's an elite crew with all the best spider people in it?
Who's the new guy?
This is unbelievable.
This is the lobby. Miguel O'Hara. The whole thing was his idea.
What's a guy gotta do to join this spider team?
You can never be part of this.
Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999.
So we got to stop for that.
Yes, naturally. Like, okay, name drop Doctor Strange and the technical designation of the MCU,
Yeah.
which is such an awkward number, and it's a really
I love it.
clunky
9999.
yeah, 199999. Like, okay. My question is, did they get any permission, or did they just go like name drop Spider-Man and Doctor Strange? Just use it. I think they did. I don't think they even asked.
Didn't they name drop the main universe as being 616 now, and the 9999 is the old designation?
Yes.
So that might be their loophole. That is another Doctor Strange, Tom Holland Spider-Man.
I remember talking to people regarding this movie a long time ago when the first movie came out, and they were talking about how they were really close to making Tony Stark part of this universe, and like name dropping other characters, but they just didn't, or they didn't have time, or they chose not to, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, like they're always really close to making some kind of like interconnected universe reference like they used to like 15, 20 years ago. But I'm glad they actually made a reference to it, because you know what? Yeah. The other thing is who's chronicling these universes? Like, I appreciate that,
Well,
Reed
the
Richards
fans, for those who are
is-
wondering the designation, and it goes what you're saying, Sal.
Yeah.
Who's that chronicling? It's the fans, because
Yeah.
MCU is 199999. That was made by the fandom.
Yeah.
And then Feige and all them said it's 616, which is where a lot of the confusion comes in. And then it's some of the actors, and everyone's still saying 999. So it's kind of, what is it?
Marvel Comics says that the MCU is Earth 1959s. So it's like, that's the Marvel Comics designation, and I'm sure that is all the research they did. And
Okay.
the MCU, I think, is actually doing less research about what they're calling. They were like, oh, I think they call the main universe like 616. Oh, okay, that's what we're gonna call it. Like that, and that's the end of it. I mean, the fact is, in Far From Home, Mysterio calls their universe 616, and he's lying.
That's true.
Like, he's just making it up. And then they say in Multiverse Madness, no, it actually is 616. Oh, so coincidentally, a guy who had no idea the multiverse was real accidentally named the correct numerical designation, and it's a 3-digit number. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, so I actually would rather it be Earth 199999, despite how clunky it is to say that, rather than 616, because, of course, like, at least in the comics, our universe is 616, MCU is 1999, and then the Spider-Verse can be whatever. It just raises further questions, but again, you could also just argue, oh, well, the Spider people have a different mapping system than the MCU does.
Yeah. I mean, that could
Like,
be.
Reed of the Fantastic Four that we never get to see and we never will see. He has a different counting designation than Miguel O'Hara.
Could very easily. So, do you think they're on Loom World or Loom, wherever they call this?
Yeah, I think so. I think
This
they're
is
going to
the
say
lobby,
it's like,
they said.
yeah.
And I'd love to play the game of like all the different Spider-Man here, but I think
Oh
it's
my
kind of
God.
redundant at this point because none of these are real.
No, and
Like,
the
the
fact
armor
is they're-
suit is, but that's actually just black and white. So it's
Yeah.
just newspaper.
yeah,
But like,
no,
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
No, we'll wait for Screen Rant or somebody to do it for us.
You're not wrong. Because I mean, so far the trailer just is here's my complaint. You'll see as we're going. I'm sure you've also seen this already. I feel like this gives away too much, and what I'm hoping is it gives away the first act.
Yes.
Because I feel like we'll keep going. You'll see.
Yeah.
Peter,
Miles!
you have a baby?
I have a baby.
Yeah.
I have a baby.
Miles, being Spider-Man is a sacrifice.
So I think we're finally going to get her story.
Yes.
Like
Also,
we've seen,
is that Peter wearing sweatpants?
Yeah, he turns into the lizard in this universe. Remember?
Right. That's right.
Yeah, and I believe he was in sweatpants in that portrayal too.
We didn't see it. No, it's all in shadow. I think in the last movie.
In the comics, he's in sweatpants.
Oh, in the
I'm saying.
comics,
yeah,
yes,
the
that's
comic
fair. All right.
portrayal. And I think we're actually going to get more of her history finally.
Yeah.
Because like they seemingly have picked the favorites in the first. You know what I mean? Like, okay,
Yeah.
they were all support characters, but now you guys like
Right.
Ghost Spider, so she's like in the story.
Yeah. Like, we're not gonna get to Penny or Noir
Yeah.
or Ham.
Man is a sacrifice.
You have a choice between saving one person and saving every world.
So I think this is just speculation at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Between saving
Based on the timing of the trailer,
Yeah.
they're gonna find out that he's supposed to die, which
Yes.
he does in one of the timelines, doesn't he?
His mother dies in
His
the
mother
Ultimate
dies.
Universe.
That's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So I get a feeling it's going to be like what?
Video game. He dies in the video game.
That's the timeline. I knew one of the timelines he passed on. So I think that's what we're leaning to. Like he's going to break the timeline, and then it's going to be Miguel chasing him because he broke the timeline.
Yeah, I think they're going to find out that they have access to time travel and they can change things, or they set the world right or something like that. And he's like, well, you could save Uncle Ben, and they're like, no, we've chosen not to save Uncle Ben because we know that none of us would be Spider-Man without Uncle Ben. Your Uncle Ben must be your father, which of course we all know is not true. His Uncle Ben is Peter Parker, so I would have to assume that at some point they're going to like. Maybe that's the lesson, because I was thinking about this today. I watched this trailer and I was thinking to myself like, oh man, what does this mean? And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like I'm older than the demographic for this movie. Like this is for children.
Yeah.
So like the big reveal of, my Uncle Ben is Spider-Man could literally be the lesson at the end of the movie or the end of the next movie.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I would rather that. I don't want to think about it endlessly. But yeah,
I mean, as much as I love these movies, the demographic is like 13 to 18. It's not 30-year-old guys overthinking every single timeline. And
I mean, it is that too.
Well,
but they're not thinking about them. Oh no, they are. They 100% are, and we'll see why after this.
One person and saving every world.
Send me home.
I can't do that.
I can do both. Spider-Man always.
Not always.
What about Uncle Ben?
If not for Uncle Ben, most of us wouldn't be here.
Which I think is tied to what you just said.
Yeah.
That's literally that I think that's placed differently, and I think it's
Right.
why don't we save Uncle Ben? I think that's what.
Yeah, and it's like we can't. I mean, we wouldn't be Spider-Man otherwise.
Can't stop me now! You can't run forever, kid!
I can't lose one more friend.
Miguel, this isn't what we talked about! You knew? I had no idea!
Oh, you know what I just realized with her line, I can't lose her more friend? That's why we're going to get her history, because the
Yeah.
thing that haunts her for all of her comics is the death of Peter.
Right.
Like, Peter is also her Uncle Ben in the comics.
That's very true. That's interesting, and maybe they'll play with that. Maybe that's their Martha, is that their Uncle Ben, their separation from all the other Spider-Man is their Uncle Ben is actually Spider-Man.
And I think that's why she plays such a much more prominent role in this one, other than they want the cute
She's so
blonde girl.
marketable.
Yeah, she's 100% marketable. So
Yeah.
I think that's number one. But when you looked at their histories, it's like, oh, they both technically in their universes lost Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, they lost Peter. Because he wasn't Spider-Man in her world, but it was still Peter.
Yeah.
So.
Friend.
Miguel, this isn't what we talked about! You knew? I had no idea what you're doing!
Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
All stations, stop Spider-Man!
Oh.
You gotta meme it.
Yep.
But you
We
said,
gotta
oh,
do
what
the
you got?
pointing. But that was the moment where they're like, all right, a lot of 45-year-old people are going to be in the theater. Make sure that there's a big old shot of Ben Reilly as the Scarlet Spider, and that he's like in 90s, and like he looks like a 90s drawing.
There.
Yeah, it's incredible how like well executed it is.
I'm not going to stop on that. But yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Let me guess. He died.
I like that. I do like that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this, but I'm hoping that's just the first act. Now, what I'm
Yeah.
curious about is, one, they didn't show a real villain, which is why I'm hoping that's the actual act.
I mean,
There's no
Miguel.
way Miguel's not going to. I don't think he's going to say the villain. Miguel, I think, is something happened that Miguel is preventing. Because he's so angry. Like, I think he's going to be the villain for Act 1. And then he's going to, like, drive the hunt for Miles for Act 2. Act 3 is going to be the reveal of what the villain is. And they'll remove the villain. And I think they're going to then hint at the next villain. Like, the big villain for the third movie that they all have to come together for.
Okay, that'd be fine with me. I mean,
that's my theory. That they're teaming up in the third act, and that's when they realize they can prevent it all if they team up for the big baddie.
Gotcha. I noticed like some spots at the end, and I'm like, oh, maybe the Spot is going to be used. Like, not that Spot necessarily is a conscious villain, but maybe he's going to be manipulated and used by the villain. Maybe Miguel is just an irredeemable jerk, and he seemingly is part of the plan, but actually he's working some other end. Maybe he's working for and I hesitate to reference them, but the Inheritors, because I mean, like the Inheritors are the villains of every Spider-Verse story. It makes sense to use them despite how much I don't like them. So like you could definitely use them, and it would be such a shorthand. They're energy vampires and they feed on spider people. Like, oh, okay, moving on. Like that's all it takes.
That's literally, I wonder if that's what we're gonna lean to. Miguel's running from Morlun, or Morlun has killed someone in his life and he's preventing that from happening, and that's why he's so angry.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think they're gonna make him the villain, because you imagine the backlash of 2099 Spider-Man is now a villain in a movie, like a full-blown villain.
I honestly, I don't think anyone would care. I think that, the way that Marvel Comics has treated Miguel over the years, I think they're kind of like, as long as people are talking about him, I couldn't care less.
I think they chose to do this, though, because look at this frame. Miguel in that Day of the Dead outfit, because that's what that is, the Day of the Dead. It's just such an intimidating Spider-Man.
I love it. Yeah. Well, he's also like roided out in this version from his last appearance, and I'm like, why is that? And I'm sure there'll be some reveal about why. I don't think they're just gonna go, oh, we just like the new version where he's like grossly oversized.
I think it's a silhouette. I think it's to give him a different silhouette. It's the same reason why I think they changed the turtle silhouette, where they're all kind of different looking in the new version. It's to give a silhouette where you can identify who they are. Yes,
as opposed to just the colors. Yeah. I feel like this is the movie. I think the movie is going to be like, because you notice that Jefferson, his father, he doesn't say anything in the whole trailer. He says like, ooh, and I think it's because, I think we speculated on this the last time there was a trailer, that like they're going to kill him. He's going to die in this movie, and it's going to be mostly about Miles and his mom and the death of his father and how they have to like move on and accept death and da-da-da-da, and she'll be like the moral compass for him going forward. And then, he's going to try and fit in, like maybe he rejects his mother and his family, goes into the spider world, where he's like, this is more who I am, and then they don't accept him either. I mean, I could very much see this whole thing being like a 101 minute long movie about like Miles loses his family, and then the spider people reject him and attack him, and then it ends on a cliffhanger. Like, I mean, they even worked in a betrayal of Peter B. Parker, where like he was brought in to either calm down and capture or convince Miles not to do anything in the past. So like, I think they're trying to isolate him, and so they're going to treat this like the Empire Strikes Back of the Spider-Verse trilogy, where he's all alone. Maybe he doesn't even trust Gwen, or maybe Gwen and he are the only ones left, and then like they're lost in the multiverse or the Spider-Verse, and they have no connection to anybody, and they I mean, I can see them being like, it's really dark, and they're all by themselves.
I wonder if it's going to tie kind of like into the plot of like the new Spider-Verse that's going on right now, the end of the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Where Miles is the outlier because he's weird and nothing affects him.
Yeah.
Kind of a situation. And maybe that's why that comic exists, because that was originally supposed to come out. Like, what if those plots are more closely tied than usual?
Yes, like because that movie was supposed to come out like a year ago.
Yep, yeah. And that was supposed to tie into the end of the Spider-Verse going on in comics, which, if you're wondering, is not good. But anyway.
No, it is not. It is not good at all. But
I'm more excited for Dan Slott's sidekick Spider-Man that's coming out in like 2 issues or whatever.
Yeah. I all I've seen is a picture, but
I think it's all I've seen. But yeah.
Well, good. Okay. Well, and this movie looks good.
So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm excited for this either way. I mean, this could be the worst thing ever, but
yeah, I hope they don't botch it.
Yeah.
It depends on how much.
I'm just wondering how they're going to handle it. I don't like it when they announce that 2 and 3 are connected.
Yeah,
because that makes me wonder how much we're getting here and how much is the cliffhanger. What are we doing?
Yeah, like I need a date for the third movie. Like, and I don't mean that I need someone to come with me. I mean I need to know when the third movie's coming out.
Sal, if you're alone, I'll go with you, man.
I know. Normally my wife is my date, but I wonder now. This movie, what's the date? What's the release date for this movie again?
June.
Okay, it's very possible that the third one, and we're unprepared as we always are, but it's very possible the third movie comes out in like December.
I thought that was the original plan, actually. I'm not. Yeah. I'm double checking it now, but I'm pretty sure it's March 2024.
Oh well, that sucks.
That's like a full year. That's a full release on March 21st, while a female-focused spin-off is in development as well.
Fantastic.
What? A spin-off of this?
Yeah, well, they want to make like a Gwen and a Jessica Drew.
I mean, I'm not against that. I just didn't realize that I thought we were doing that in the live action ones.
I thought we were going to do that like when the first movie came out.
Oh, no, this is just talking about Spider-Women, which is the one we already know about.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Why is it tied to this?
Oh, because there's multiple Spider people, and I'll bet it directly connects to it. I'll bet that Spider Woman. What movie is it? It's Madam Web, the Madam Web movie.
Well, no, there's one called Spider Woman. Began
okay.
developing in November. It's going to have Spider Gwen, Silk, and Jessica Drew Spider Woman.
Yes. Okay.
And the Spider-Verse would launch as the launching pad for it.
All right.
So I guess that new Spider-Woman's coming back, and Silk, I haven't seen it all in there yet, so.
No, not in this. No.
Now, what are Silk's going to be the primary one for that? Like Spider-Gwen and Jessica show up to show Silk how it's done or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know, man, but it feels like, I would rather this be a complete movie, but honestly, this is very connected to the first movie. I mean, the last moment of the last movie is the launching pad for this movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I hope I hope they didn't lose sight of what's good and what works. Like
We'll
movies
see.
are funny.
It's Sony. I can't
right.
The
I
problem
can't
with
just blindly
Sony is
trust them.
Right. They get one thing right and then they botch it 3 more times.
Yeah.
Like they got Venom right and then we got Morbius. I mean,
hell, they got Venom and then they made Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, it's true. They messed up Venom in 2. Like,
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like this could go either way, and it could even be a Batman Returns situation where they're like, "We trust you. Do whatever you want," and they're like, "Whatever we want," And Tim Burton's like, "Okay, I'll make this movie unsellable." But this movie, I don't know. I
still like
obviously
Returns.
I like Returns as well, but it doesn't sell Happy Meals.
Returns got a fetish for leather and Catwoman, and
What the hell's wrong with that? I'm just saying it wasn't. You can't make a Happy Meal toy out of Danny DeVito Penguin barfing up black blood.
No, you make one. You got one that the action button on the back is he lifts the fish and bites the head off.
Yes, or nose chomping action. I don't know. This movie looks good. It looks good from now. For the 2.5 minutes we've seen. I hope it continues. Yeah, that's it. But if it doesn't continue, I don't know what Sony's gonna do. Sony's, they learn the wrong lesson every time. So I can't wait to see how this goes.
Right. But anyway, guys, if you liked this video and you want to see our opinions and reactions, make sure you check out that like button and check out that subscribe button and hit both of them. And check us both out on Comic Story and a Comic Pop. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time right here.